It was funny because like I wasn't even sure I was going to compete. I had been sick the week before. I ended up going to the gym, at my gym where I live here in Spain, and I'd already kind of decided not to go. And then I actually felt amazing. This I had this session. I was like, man, I feel really good. The comp's literally the next day, and I was like, I looked at flights. It was like 4:30, and I saw there was a flight leaving at 6:45. Luckily, I live right by the airport, but I was like, shoot, like, fuck it, let's do this.
This is Climbing Gold.
And
So
so,
which competitions did you do?
so I did one of the National Cup Series events. I went and I came in second at the event in New Jersey, which was cool. Like very little preparation, like I'm basically just doing what I've always done. I just go rock climbing. I climb in the gym, when I'm not rock climbing, but no specific training. And it was cool just as an opportunity to take the temperature, see what it's all about, see what it feels like,
Mhm.
see how it feels personally, see
What
see
what did
what the level is like.
what did the other competitors think when Chris Sharma showed up at the random gym in New Jersey? Were they like
Uh,
WTF?
well, so one of the really cool things is that it was just down the road from my good buddy Obi's house, and so I got to hang out with him. He's like an official coach too, so he like kind of
Mm.
like came in as my coach, and it was actually really special. Like I got to like reintegrate into that whole world with one of my best friends from that era. That like we competed at the junior nationals together in Pittsburgh, right? So to have him there with me was actually really meaningful. But it was funny because like I wasn't even sure I was going to compete. I had been sick the week before. I ended up going to the gym at my gym where I live here in Spain, and I'd already kind of decided not to go. And then I actually felt amazing. This I had this session. I was like, man, I feel really good. The comp's literally the next day, and I was like, I looked at flights, and I saw there was a flight leaving. It was like 4:30, and I saw there was a flight leaving at 6:45. And luckily I live right by the airport, but I was like, shoot, like, fuck it, let's do this. And I went straight from the gym by my house. I grabbed my passport and I went to the airport like with chalk on my hands. And I flew in and I competed the next morning. It was like total spur of the moment. I was super tired, and I drank a bunch of. I went to Starbucks and I got way too much coffee, and I was like super jittery, and so like the first qualifying round wasn't very good, and I was like pretty nervous. But then the next round was actually really good, and then the next round was good too. Like I got into my headspace, and it was super cool, man. It was an amazing experience to go into that space of competition climbing, and it was like a blast from the past, but it was also like competition can bring out the best or it can bring out the worst in people, right? And I think for me, being in that situation, it always put me on my game in a way that like I was able to perform better under that like pressure, or having the being a little bit nervous. And so it was really cool to like be back in that like element, and in a way like not really have too much expectation around it, but it was like to be on that space where you have to perform, like when you go up and you have like one shot and to make it count. It's very exhilarating. I followed up and went to nationals because I qualified for nationals, so I was like, well,
Okay.
shoot, I might as well go there.
And when was that? Like how much later was that?
That was in October of last year, so couple months.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
a few
And so
months.
and so how did nationals go?
It went okay. I got ninth. The field was pretty stacked. I mean, all these people that I had no idea who any of them are, but like a lot of really strong kids.
Mhm.
I was really impressed by how many strong climbers there are out there. Um, but it was still kind of like just this process of like taking the temperature, feeling what it was all about, coming back to this thing that's familiar, but it's also like I've been out of that world for so many years. So it was cool just to kind of like dip my toe back into that, see what it was all about,
Yeah,
see what the
and
feeling was like. And
And
I
so,
don't.
I mean, what is the temperature like? I mean, if you got ninth in a field of like people you don't really know, were you like, whoa, it's a lot hotter in this pool now than it was when I was a kid? You're like, is like a
Well,
different scene.
certainly, like I think yeah, there's a very high level. I also felt like there was a lot of room for improvement on my inside. Like I could, like I basically came probably from climbing in Mallorca, deep water soloing, and literally no like no indoor climbing. Maybe I climbed a couple of days at the gym, but I just wanted to go see what it was all about. Um,
Hmm.
so like my feeling was like, oh, if I dedicate myself to this, I think I could get better at this style of climbing. Like I feel like the style like we're seeing in difficulty comps is a good style for me. And so like I'm intrigued by that because I feel like I could get better at that style. Um,
And are you excited about it enough to be willing to put in the time and train and
well,
try? I mean, are you going to try to follow up with more comps like that?
there was just the team trials. It was in Austin a couple weeks ago, and I didn't go. So I don't know if that answers the question for you, but
Uh,
it's like
but the
it's
Olympics isn't for 4 years, so or, I mean, or 3 more years.
yeah, we'll see. Like it's hard, man. In practice, like I got excited. I got after being at the Olympics, I was like, wow, this is so cool. Like I want to participate in that. And it's a whole other thing to like completely dedicate yourself to that. And um, especially when that means not doing certain things that bring you a lot of happiness, like going rock climbing. Um, and so that's one of the things that I struggle with, I think, because I just cannot force myself to not go rock climbing. I love rock climbing too much. And it's like when I have an amazing project in Mallorca, deep water soloing, it's like I love it so much. I'm trying this other climb right now in this other crag called Santa Ana. It's this amazing piece of rock that, I love doing new first ascents. And so I still can't break myself away from that stuff to like fully commit to just climbing indoors.